This is a clip of a gymnastics facility center in China. This is the Nanning Gymnasium. Now you can see here is just another normal day of training. And now you can see that the coach is actually just pulling on these children's limbs and just pushing them and forcing them to wear shapes. All these children are going through intense training and it's very brutal. Look at the expressions on his face. Did you see the way how the coach just kicked his student? Or how the girl was pulled off the beam? How do you feel now? This is the way of how training is like every day in China in gymnastics. Now, we all know that gymnastics is a great sport. It teaches individual grace and it really helps them build strength. But gymnastic training is too intense in China. The Chinese method is definitely training their gymnasts too hard and depriving these young children from the childhood. The expectations for a young child is too much for them to accomplish. Bill Skillers from Foreign Affairs reports that sports was created for health and strength, but today, sports are now becoming harmful for children athletes, causing bone deformation, overexhaustion, and severe illness. Because of the expectations of the sport is so high for these Chinese students, they feel like they are obligated to really do their best, or else they're gonna disappoint their coach. So the stress upon the body is just too much that it could actually cause psychological traits to really mess with their head, their mentality in the sport, because all the discipline and the high expectations they have to fulfill. Next, let's look at the abuse in the training of gymnastics in the Chinese way. Gymnastics is a sport for strength, flexibility, and mentality. Now, Chinese officials believe that without beating, there is no success. But we know that there's a difference between pushing and abusing individual in gymnastics. Matthew Pinson, a German coach from the Olympics, went to one of the Chinese gymnastics facility centers, and has reported that his visit experience was not pleasant. He states that it's a really shocking view to see what went on, and he accepts that the approaches of how they train their gymnasts is different from the Western versus the Eastern. But at the end of the day, he felt like they were really being abused. Later on, he actually finds evidence from markings from a little boy's back that these kids are actually being abused. Why? Because these children feel really stressed out because they have to fulfill the coach's expectations and the discipline of what it means to be a gymnast. So the coaches would actually beat these children because they can't get it right. So because of the strain from all these high expectations in the Chinese method of gymnastics training, so much for a gymnast is too much for a gymnast to fulfill. So a coach will beat a student just to teach them a lesson or for them to persevere. Last but not least, believe it or not, Chinese Communist Party has established a demanding sport training system for children to go through abuse just in the Olympic sports training facilities. So Virginia Wu from Epoch Time reports that the Chinese Communist Party has established more demanding sports systems to actually increase more children to go into this system where children as young as 4 years old would go into training every day, daily, and work many hours, and they actually are taken away from their family, far away from where they know or where they are familiar with. And the government is just way too demanding upon these young children. It is wrong for the government to demand for young children to take their opportunity to join such an intense sport to extreme where it just really hurts them physically and mentally. Now, these the Chinese child gymnasts go into too much of brutal training, forcing their bodies into weird shapes, and this is the Chinese child gymnasts go into too much of a brutal training. It hurts them mentally and physically because the expectations are too much for them to exceed at such a young age they do not fully understand. And there is a difference to distinguish between abuse and how to push an individual to the limits. So we should really think about the Chinese gymnast training methods and how much it could affect a young child and deprive them from their childhood. So let's think about it.